Imagine this with me. One single company managed to dominate the entire shipping industry, to the point where its ships are sailing across every ocean. More than 70% of the world's cargo passes through vessels that either use its technology or depend on its services. And ships today, they're not just giant pieces of steel cutting through the waves. Nah, they've become floating hubs of artificial intelligence. The very first mega ship in history, moving through the ocean, without a captain, without a crew. Navigation? Calculated down to the millimeter by satellites. Radars? Spotting every single vessel around it, before a human eye could ever notice. And the algorithms making life or death decisions in just seconds. Meanwhile, thousands of miles away, on a whole different continent, there's an aircraft factory that looks like something straight out of a sci-fi movie. Rows upon rows of robots, standing like a perfectly organized army. Robots welding, robots assembling, robots lifting parts that weigh tens of tons. Entire factories, running 24 hours a day, without a single worker ever stopping, or even taking a break. And the result? Brand new planes being born every single day. Faster, lighter, smarter. And leading this revolution, it's not humans anymore, it's the machines. And that's where the real question hits. Is the world truly ready for a future of human-free transportation? Could you ever imagine stepping onto a massive ship? Or boarding a plane, knowing there isn't a single crew member on board? And more than that, what happens if this technology falls into the wrong hands? Or worse, what if a single algorithm makes just one mistake? And that is exactly what we're going to uncover in today's episode. For thousands of years, the ocean has always been a symbol of the unknown. Sailors faced storms, pirates, and thick fog that could wipe out their sense of direction. But today, the scene has completely changed. The same ocean that once needed a captain with 40 years of experience is now under the control of an algorithm that's only been alive for hours since its launch. Autonomous ships aren't just some futuristic idea, they're real. Back in 2018, Norway announced the Yara Birkeland project, the first fully electric and autonomous container ship. 80 meters long, able to carry hundreds of tons of cargo with not a single crew member on board. Everything is controlled from a command center miles away. Engineers sit in front of massive screens, tracking every move. But the ship itself? It sails on its own. It dodges obstacles. It calculates the wind. It adjusts its course without anyone yelling right or left. But why does the world even need crewless ships? The answer is simple and terrifying. In 2020, more than 90% of global trade moved by sea. But as ships got bigger, costs skyrocketed, and the shortage of sailors became a massive problem. Shipping companies realized that the cost of humans isn't just about salaries, it's food, housing, training, insurance. And above all that, human error. A global report revealed that around 75% of ship accidents were caused by people. Bad decisions, fatigue, lack of experience. So the solution became obvious. Why leave the lives of thousands of people and the economy of entire nations in the hands of humans who can make mistakes, when machines can do everything with precision? And that's where the race began. Companies like Rolls-Royce Marine stepped in strong, declaring, "We see a future where ships don't need captains." They announced plans to build entire fleets controlled from land-based command centers. Picture a massive control hub filled with screens, engineers sitting like astronauts in a space station. But instead of monitoring satellites, they're steering colossal ships across the ocean. The image is eerie, a calm sea, a ship hundreds of meters long gliding in silence. No roaring engines, no footsteps of sailors on deck. It feels like a ghost ship. But the question remains, is it safe? What happens if an autonomous vessel is attacked by pirates? Or worse, if a hacker breaks into its system? We're talking about steel giants weighing hundreds of thousands of tons. And if they go out of control, the disaster would be beyond imagination. And at the same time, governments are looking at it from another angle. Imagine a fully autonomous warship with not a single soldier on board. A vessel that can stay at sea for months without needing food or sleep. And that's where the real fear kicks in. Could something that started as an economic innovation end up becoming a weapon? When you hear the word factory, maybe you picture workers in hard hats, loud machines, and people running back and forth along production lines. But step inside the world's biggest aircraft factories today, and you'd be shocked. This place doesn't look like any factory you've ever seen. Here, humans are there, but only as guests. The real stars of the show are the robots. Let me take you on a tour inside Airbus's massive plant in Germany. This factory feels more like a space base. It stretches farther than multiple football fields combined. And right in the middle of the mechanical roar, you see a giant robot lifting a plane's wing that weighs 10 tons, like it's just a piece of plastic. Another robot is welding the aircraft's body with microscopic precision. Accuracy no human worker could ever match, not even with 30 years of experience. And in another corner, a straight line of smaller robots moves perfectly in sync, each one carrying an electronic component, placing it exactly where it belongs. Never late, never wrong. The result? That same airplane that once needed hundreds of workers and months of labor. Today the robots finish it faster and way more efficiently. But it's not just about speed. In aviation, even the tiniest mistake could mean a catastrophic crash. That's why these robots don't just accelerate the process, they slash the chance of human error. Because while a worker can mess up out of fatigue, stress, or boredom, a robot doesn't know what tired even means. It works around the clock, 24/7, with the same sharp accuracy and the same perfect focus. And you gotta remember, modern planes like the Boeing 787 Dreamliner or the Airbus A350, they're not just flying metal. They're made up of 2.5 million individual parts. Yeah, imagine that number. 2.5 million pieces that have to come together with perfect precision. For humans? That's practically impossible. For robots? Just another calculation, down to the millimeter. These factories have become scenes out of a sci-fi movie. Massive machines moving with the grace of a ballet dancer. Every step planned, every weld identical, every bolt tightened to the exact torque. And up above, engineers sit in glass control rooms, just watching the whole thing unfold on giant screens. It's like humans have been reduced to observers in a world now ruled by machines. And that's when the scary question hits. If today robots can build airplanes, what's stopping them tomorrow from flying them? What's stopping us from boarding a commercial flight where not a single pilot is on board? Or even worse, imagine military aircraft carrying out combat missions without a single human inside. What's happening inside aircraft factories right now isn't just an upgrade. It's a full redefinition of aviation itself, from a way to travel, to a strategic weapon, to a symbol of control. History always shows us every great invention comes with a price. Steam powered the trains, but it sparked an industrial revolution that left millions of workers jobless. Electricity lit up entire cities, but it also opened the door to stronger, deadlier weapons. And today, we're standing at a moment just like that. Autonomous ships and planes come with huge promises, lower costs, safer operations, speed and efficiency like we've never seen before. But on the other side of the coin lies the danger. First danger, hacking and control. Imagine a massive autonomous cargo ship cruising through the ocean, weighing 250,000 tons. If a single hacker broke into its system, they could reroute it, turn it into a floating bomb. 1 second, and you've got an environmental and economic disaster. And even worse, what if this same tech ends up in the hands of a terrorist group or a hostile nation? We're talking about silent weapons, deadlier than any missile. Second danger, the loss of jobs. Millions of sailors, engineers, pilots, factory workers, where do they go? We're talking about the aviation and shipping industries. industries that employ millions across the globe. If machines take their place, who's left with work? Are we ready for a society where humans just watch while robots do all the heavy lifting? Third danger, unexpected failures. Robots are precise, but they think in zeros and ones. No feelings, no human instinct. If something happens that's not in the program, a sudden storm, a strange equipment malfunction, a situation way outside the algorithm, will the robot know what to do? Or will it just keep following the code, straight into disaster? And here's the haunting question every tech expert keeps asking. Are we building an easier world, or a more dangerous one? The future, partnership or conflict? Some believe this isn't a threat at all. They see it as freedom. Machines will do the labor, and humans will focus on creativity, on imagination, on the things robots could never replicate. But others, they see this as the beginning of human exclusion. Step by step, the machines take over, while humanity slowly fades into the background. What's certain is the race has already started. China, the US, Europe, all pouring billions into this field. And whoever dominates autonomous transport won't just get rich. They'll hold the keys to global trade and to military power at the same time. The conclusion: right now we're standing at a turning point. Ships sail the oceans without captains. Factories build planes without workers. Machines are no longer just our assistants, they're replacements. And the real question we have to ask is this: tomorrow, will we wake up and realize we're just passengers in a world where the machines are the ones driving? Or do we still have a chance to hold on to our place as the leaders of this story? That is the big question. And that's what makes the future just as terrifying as it is breathtaking.